Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics on Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show today. We are going to have a great show for you today. As usual, you know how it goes. It's right up to the minute before I'm ready, but you know what? I had a good time today. Got a chance to play a little bit more in the ice this morning with my daughter in the snow on the beach. Hey, it's great. It's great here in Washington, D.C. with this good snowstorm that's out here. People in Washington are stuck on I-95, so I know they aren't enjoying it. But you know, I tell you what, for this guy from down south who's only seen snow once in a while, this was the most I think I've seen in a long time. Anyway, folks, I got one of my screens set late, so I'm going to be looking up high to figure out what it is that you guys are saying here. Welcome aboard to say Michael Rutten. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Con estando. Whoa, Michael, you got some long ones today, my brother. And we have AVQ, we have Maywood says, hello everyone and Happy New Year. And I have to tell everyone Happy New Year. We have Alistair Waters, hi all, I'm watching from my mobile on YouTube. How can I see full chat responses? Hey, somebody help Alistair with the mobile as far as how you hit see the messages. I can't get to that right this very minute. So please, somebody in the feed, help her, please. IFVQ says 200 character limit. Annoying. I hear you, brother. I hear you. Yvette Avery Herod, my union specialist and union. Love you, girl. Everett Avery Herod is here with us today. Para ver, Bruce is here. Happy New Year. I hope Congress can get something done. I hope so too. ABQ says Twitch has a 500 character limit. If you want to see more, that is good news to know that Twitch has a larger limit. Okay, folks, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get busy right now and start reading our #1 researcher stories. It goes like this. Michael Rotman says, exclusivo, exclusive. Secret commandos which shoot to kill authority were at the Capitol. Short version, the National Mission Force, aka Delta Force, were going to go in had the insurrectionists actually done sufficient harm. Our military, under the auspices of the Department of Justice, had an option of last resort to retake the Capitol with deadly force. You can expect more about this in the days to come. P.S. My best guess, those operators would have gone in to clear the building and would have left most of the insurrectionist Trumpers bleeding on the ground if January 6th had become a hostage scenario. Michael Rudden also says several cities town plan to hand out COVID tests this week. I checked to see if one of those 500 million mail-to-home tests were available via several websites that offer free testing, such as Pixel LaborCorp, and they all told me to check again tomorrow. Seems like demand is exceeding the supply and will remain so for a few days. That's why we are staying as close to inside as possible. Of course, we're going to go to Costco, but my daughter keeps me very much cleaned up and wear the mask all the time. And no matter that we are triple vaccinated and boosted, I follow the rules and I listen to what she has to say. P.S. As I have a bit of a sore throat, intermittent cough, nothing serious and mildest of annoyances, but have not had myself checked over a year. Figured now is a good time as any. Yes, it is. And you know, I'll tell you my thoughts about that later on. Schumer says Senate will vote by January 17 on changing rules if GOP continues to block voting right legislation. Republicans aren't afraid to wield power, unlike Democrats. Democrats, you hurt me, I'm gonna do it if you pass this bar. You pass that bar, I'm gonna hurt you if you pass this bar. I know what you're talking about, man. Democrats make a carve out for voting rights, but not build back better to kickstart infrastructure investment. The people would have less reason to come out and vote for us in 2022. Hey, wait. I don't want us pushing that message. I want us to say, yeah, the people didn't get what they want. Because they didn't get what they want from this Congress doesn't mean to stay home. It means in the primaries, elect more progressives. You know, Joe Manchin said that. If you want progressive policies, under our rules, elect enough progressives who can make a difference. And that's what I'm saying. I don't want people to stay home and not vote. I want people to make a difference. So I hear you, Redden, but let's work. You and I, you and all of us, work to tell people, don't fall into the trap about you don't get this so you don't vote. No, we go vote. And we go vote for progressives in the primaries, and we go and vote for the Democrats in the final tally. Okay, then Republicans will claim hypocrisy and make carve-outs for whatever they want to pass, which is what they do. They did it again for the Supreme Court. To be clear, Republicans won't use the filibuster in good faith for what's best for the country. Republicans will put power and party above people and country every time. If the Democrats want to take in filibuster, they have to enact two rules with it. First, whoever is speaking must stay on topic. And second, whoever is speaking cannot tell a provable lie. If either of these simple rules are broken, an objection will be made and the time will expire. I agree. Look, folks, I want to tell you something, though. I am tired of the filibuster, period. We need to just get rid of it. Okay, Michael says, Egberto, Bernie Sanders has the last one. I hope you read out in full. Of course I'm going to read your stuff out in full, Michael. Have I ever not read your stuff out in full if it's not something that's, you know, maybe most people know already? Let's get busy. Our New Year's resolution for 2022, to rise up and fight back. Corporate greed and class warfare are crushing working people. No one is going to save us. We need to rise up together as we begin this year 2022 in these unprecedented times. I know it's easy to give into despair. We are facing a raging pandemic with seemingly no end in sight. We are rapidly moving toward oligarchy, and while income and wealth inequality grows, millions struggle to obtain the basic necessities of life. We have a dysfunctional healthcare system with more than 84 million uninsured or underinsured, and nearly 1 out of 4 unable to afford prescription drugs. Climate change is ravaging the planet, and systemic racism and other forms of bigotry continue to eat away at the fabric of our society. We have a corrupt political system in which corporate money buys elections and a mainstream media that largely ignores the pain that ordinary people experience. And in the midst of all of this, Republicans across the country are working overtime, trying to undermine democracy by making it harder for people of color, young people, and those who oppose them to vote in our next elections. In other words, the challenge we face are enormous, and it is easy to understand why many may fall into depression and cynicism. This is a state of mind, however, that we must resist. Not only for ourselves, but for our kids and future generations. The stakes are just too high. Despair is not an option. We must stand up and fight back. Bernie then goes on to list all the strikes and union battles that were won against corporate greed last year for the benefits of the working class. It's a long list that would take a few minutes to read out. Suffice it to say, we currently have 3 existential battles that we can't lose sight of nor give up for. Other 2, the fall of democracy, the pandemic, and global warming. AVQ, thank you for bringing that to our attention. Maywood, Alistair, McCaskill, AVQ, Yvette Everett, I think I saluted you all already, including Bruce Pollard. Nanette Bird-Smith, welcome aboard. All right, let's see. Bruce, I trust that you're feeling much better now. Eric Hayes says, why does Schumer and his ilk want to change the rules now? Because they don't want what will happen November 22. I agree. That's a fact. But you know what? I believe in democracy. Why should we let a minority of the country control the policies that everybody else voted for? More than 8 million more people voted for Democrats than they did for Republicans. Those senators that make up 50 senators represent less than half of the entire country. Those little states that they represent are controlling what most of us want. Is that fair? No. Is it legal? Yes. Are there ways around it? Yes. So when you tell us that we are wrong for going around it when you guys are using policies to hurt us all, I'm sorry, we can't accept it. And I hope more Democrats would get pelotas to get it done to actually get something done. Carl Cox says, Brother Carl here, welcome aboard, Brother Carl. To shave or not to shave? That is the question, and I did shave today. I used the nice, beautiful gift my wife gave me for shaving. I wanted to shave it yesterday, but hey, I want to see how long it could go. All right, Eric Hayes, in 2017, doomsday to democracy. Now he wants to do what he preached against 2017 because of power and having it all on one side. No, it's not about having it on one side. It's about the people wanting what we want to provide, but the senators and their plutocratic leaders not wanting to get it there. That's what it's all about, folks. Not about trying to do something. Everything that we're doing is sanctioned by the people who supported us. Don't forget that. Please don't forget that. Eric Hayes says, government getting in the way of COVID-related things like healing people and Fauci having too much power. The CDC has been so ineffective and inefficient for messaging to just sheer not knowing what to do, and this is prime example. I don't need to read that because you guys are living in an alternate state of reality. Don't worry, I have relatives as well that are there. But you know, I'm gonna play my piece in a little bit. Let's see what else we have here. Eric Hayes, you're reading sources whose primary mode of operation is to piss off conservatives over culture war nonsense, getting you to kick down wild corp. And you know what? All of you that have left me a message now, I want to play a piece that I just did today after receiving a note from a family member. It kind of kicked me into high gear. Actually, to put it bluntly, I was nice in my response, but it really pissed me off because when your own relatives are succumbing to the fraudsters, when your own relatives are succumbing to the fraud out there that's getting people killed, the evidence, the numbers are all there. Why is that occurring? And this kind of goes into also what brother Eric Hayes is talking about. So let's go ahead and get busy and showing this video, and then we will move on the other side, mis hermanos y mis hermanas. The purpose of vaccines is to ensure you don't die from a disease or you're not severely maimed from a disease. It's not to say that vaccine is going to stop you from getting a little snizzle from that particular virus or bacteria or whatever. It is simply there to teach your immune system how to fight that disease if your immune system encounters that disease. If your immune system encounters a disease, it actually means that the disease has touched you. If the disease has touched you, it probably means that if you're tested for that disease or that pathogen while it is in you, that you're going to test positive. So a lot of people are like, you don't, why take the vaccine? You're going to still test positive. Well, that's a good possibility. But again, you live. The probability of you living are orders of magnitudes larger than if you don't take the vaccine. Why am I telling you this? Consider this a service announcement, a health service announcement. Because today, once again, we had to lose somebody in the prime of their lives because, or recently I should say, because they decided to follow the memes. They decided to follow all that is silly. They decided to follow those people that have no right, no purpose in making other people healthy. So what am I talking about? I went ahead and found this article, not found, in my just perusing of my Daily Kos website, which I do every day. I post there as well. Come across this article. Another victim of the GOP death cult. It's amazing. The people who cherish lives, they claim, they would never want that fetus in the womb to be harmed. But still they do things and support things that kill human beings. Another victim of the GOP death cult by Green Asteroid from Daily Kos. What this article says, it says, Kelly Ermby, former Orange County GOP State Assembly candidate and deputy DA, dies of COVID-19. The writer should have led this story as follows. During the pandemic, MB remained an ardent and vocal opponent of COVID-19 vaccination mandates. As recently as December 4th, she spoke up against such mandates during a rally outside Irvine City Hall. Imagine that. Less than a month ago, she was out there fighting against it. Fighting against it. Now she's dead. There's nothing that matters more than our freedoms right now, Earnby said. Well, she's free, all right. She's dead. I guess she has no more debts, right? But we let John Fleischman, former executive director of the California Republican Party and longtime Orange County GOP activist, have the last word. She was very passionate about her love for politics, for America and the Republican Party. She really became part of the fabric of our party. We're really going to miss her. It's very sad. And the article, the author of the article ends with a prescient statement. Another GOP assisted death. Now, those of you who will try to pull straws, those of you who would try to find evidence everywhere you can just to dispute the validity of taking a vaccine, just to dispute your freedoms from taking vaccines, go find all these outliers. Go find that one or two people who had an outbreak and died, likely because of something else. Go try to interpret a statistic that says that the Pfizer vaccine killed 10,000 people without acknowledging the fact that those 10,000 people would have died whether they had the vaccine or not, because the death really had nothing to do with the vaccine but some other reason. People die every day. And try to equate that to the vaccine. And because of that, you decide to tell your loved ones, your families, not to protect yourself as you harm the rest of the people around you. Find a reason. All you're doing is you're being a part of the death cult. You are being a part of the death cult for willfully choosing to support, willfully choosing to believe, willfully choosing to forget that you have gray matter that matters in between your ears. Remember that. Too many people just because they hope to be right will do all the wrong things. Just because they don't want to admit, I screwed up, I followed the wrong person, how could I possibly do that? So I just want to, I want to sort of read a message that I kind of placed out there to folks about this issue, because I didn't quite say this in there, but I want to say it now. I am going to read what I wrote, and bear with me 1 second as I pull it up because it's not easy. And I said, I know truth and facts that it would be derelict if I didn't take this issue on up in real. Why would one choose to believe a guy or people when we have data to show what real outcomes are? Suffice it to say, there is a reason I am glad many of these charlatanes get kicked off of social media. Why am I glad? Because they depend on the gullibility of people, and they use that gullibility to kill people. It is social media that helps them do it. It's great that social media is getting some modicum of responsibility from those who have used outliers to do other things, right? It is not likely willful ignorance on the part of those clowns. It really isn't. Because one thing we know is that the anti-vax movement is likely more profitable than the evil that is the big pharma movement. We know the big pharma rips you off. The big pharma rips you off, right? But the anti-vax movement not only rips you off, it gets you killed. So, they're both evil. And too many people succumb to that. I'm a progressive. I'm not a Darwinian at all. I'm a progressive. But unlike many of my compatriots who gets a certain amount of joy from knowing that the deaths are correlated to people on the other side, and if more of them die, there will be less of them to vote. I don't think like that. I love humanity as a humanist. I can't think like that. I love my brothers and sisters, whether they're Republicans, Democrats, anarchists, whatever. Hell, even those that are partaking of the KKK, I want to help them out. Because I know the utter fear and misery they're living in with their minds so trastornados. I know it. The poor souls are living that fear, that irrational fear that somebody's taking something that they never ever really had, that somebody else makes them believe they had and somebody else is taking it up. We have been simply fooled by so many. And so many of us just go ahead and take it. And that's what I'm saying, people. Those of you that are listening to Politics Done Right, remember, we don't fall for that. We love everybody. We bring everybody into the fold. Let's remember that. Let's remember that. Okay, going back to my commentary on on what you're saying here. Egberto, you're going to like my fourth comment from Bernie. What's your fourth comment from Bernie? I thought that's what I read. That's what I read, señor. Correctamente. Okay. Eric says pushback affects science nowadays. KVU, I don't know what that is about. COVID test. Look, I'm not going to go into that. You know, the COVID question has been answered. We don't know all the answers, but what we know is the charlatanes are just that. Charlatanes who are getting people killed. I'm not touching that subject anymore. This is not a maybe this, maybe that. This is not one side says this, the other side said this. The sides that are pushing anti-vax memorabilia, the side that they're simply kooks. And when I say kooks, I'm not talking about my friends who are following them. I'm talking about the people who have the gall to get people killed by the way they do things. So I am not even going to entertain anybody who tells me, check this out, check this out. I'll only entertain it in the form of saying, anybody who follows that or signing a death wish. Those of you that are on YouTube, please give me that thumbs up. There are a lot of you there, but not enough thumbs up to get this stuff going. So please, folks, I beg of thee, give us a thumbs up. If you are on Facebook Live, please go ahead and give us a check, meaning a like, all that good stuff, and share it. If you're on Twitter, please go ahead and follow Egberto Willies. Please follow Egberto Willies on Twitter if you are there, right there, my brothers and sisters. Peggy Lopez says, hi all, no longer news yet. Churches closed down, warm sleeping areas for unhoused here because of COVID, and another unhoused died last night from the cold. Sorry to hear that. I know that touches. I hope that you get that everyone out there get everything together. Linda Jo Kessinger says, hey everyone, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, my dear Linda. Let's see, I'll leave that conversation between May Wood and Eric Hayes. Tom C says, hi, Eric Hayes, tried your link and got, page not found. The page you're looking for doesn't exist or has been removed. Daily Wire is a biased right-wing site. It's not only a right-wing site, it's an evil site because of the way they write. I mean, they get people killed. Let's just be honest about it. Peggy Lopez says, today in 1847, Samuel Colt sold his first revolver to the U.S. government. Under 200 years later, we have come to be in the country with the most shooting deaths per capita. Yeah, in other words, we are more dangerous than some of the countries where terrorism we claim exists. Eric Hayes says, not what has been messaged as the vaccines were the cure-all. Yes, they help, but why is the government buying up all the monotherapy and pushing the new pills? I have a friend who got Delta and took a steroid shot and hydroquinone and was better in 2 days. Oh, I wonder if he would have been better in 1 day if he had taken nothing at all. We don't know that. But what we do know is that, and again, in the message that I says, it is clear people don't understand double-blind studies and don't understand statistics. Giving me some empirical information that you have a friend who took hydrochloroquine and suddenly got better doesn't say a darn thing. That's not an experiment. That's not scientific. That's empirical. And the scientific studies that have been done says hydrochloroquine is bunk. So please, Carl Cox, anti-vaxxers also oppose. You know, what drives me crazy, and I want to talk to you guys about this. And I'm talking about these people don't understand how crazy it makes them seem. You would go and stick all kind of crap into your arms. Some crazy doctor tells you to stick horse radish into your bloodstream. Some other clown tells you to drink bleach. Some other one tells you to put light into your orifices. Some other one tells you to inject yourself with some other crazy thing. No real scientific experiment, no body of studies. And you do it. And then you have a scientist that come and tell you, we have studied this, we have done a double-blind study, we have X amount of people in the study, this is what the study results tell you, and you complain about it, well, we don't believe it. Well, why would you believe a quack that just tries these things out and not believe a scientific study? Look, there are groups in this country who will say, well, you know what studies have done? They've used the syphilis experiment on certain kinds of people. They have left other kinds of people not get the medication. That's a different story altogether. You know, it behooves me that America, this country that I came to, that I chose to make my country, that we always looked at the bastion, not only of freedom, but the bastion of people getting more intelligent and intelligent. We were dumb during the slavery days and we continue to get more intelligent. Why would we want to get dumb again? Why would we want to get dumb again? Nanette Bird Smith, welcome aboard. Let's see. Jane Collins says, thank you, Egberto. Welcome to Politics Done Right, Jane Collins. Michael Rodnan says, does Eric Hayes understand what a banana republic actually is? It's when a corporation takes over your country and makes people work to produce for starvation wages. Oh, point taken. Carl Cox says Maywood is correct. Michael Renner says ours is the only first world nation with more guns than people. Deb Danny, welcome aboard. Texas governor begging federal assistance now for COVID response. Oh, you mean Texas can't handle its own business when they refuse the Medicaid expansion to the Affordable Care Act that has gotten many of their people killed? Wow. Michael Renner says, Berto, there are two images I'd asked to put on the screen. First, more guns than people. Let's see if that qualifies as something I can put on the screen. And if it does, you know that I will. Let's see what we have here. Para ver. Oh, that is something I can definitely put on the screen. Senor Rodnin, assuming that I can go ahead and find, every time I go to this layout now, I have to go ahead and do a new setup. You guys really make me work, but you know what? That's what I'm here for. So let me go ahead and try to get that on the screen for you the right kind of way. I think I can. You know that? You remember that thing? I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. Well, guess what? I think I can, and there you go. There's that chart that you want on the screen. All right, U.S. stands out among the world's wealthy nations. Number of civilian firearms per 100. United States and OECD nations. United States has the most. Mira eso, señores. Mira eso. I don't think it's something to be happy about. Not at all. But anyhow, that's where we got. What else have you got, Rudnin, that you want on the screen? Let's see what else we got. If the researcher says that he found something worth putting on the screen, let's put it on the screen. Let's put the other. Oh, whoa, that's a good one. Let's get that one up for people to see the disparity. All right, check that out, guys. Whoops, let me back that off a bit. That is simply, why is it so big? All right, check that out. France, homicides in 15 industrialized countries, 5.1. Look at that, 3 times the closest rival. That is a shame. Finland, Canada, Belgium all come way under any kind of homicide rates that we have. Yeah, so you change the discussion a little bit, Rudden, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and continue what we're talking here. All right, folks, let's see where we're at. We're at 2:30. Oh, wow, we're at 2:33 already. All right, Bruce Pollard says, new Houston-based vaccines might be cheaper and more available. We need to vaccinate people around the world who want it. We do, because it's an international world and people flying all the time. Michael Rudden says, Eric Hayes, your research consists of reading conspiracy mills and then you tell me to do my own research. I'm laughing. Well, that's between you and him. Eric says, please tell us what the almighty Rudnin has to report. Please share. Well, actually, Rudnin likes to do a lot of reading, and I respect people who do reading as long as that reading is productive. And since I've learned much from much of the stuff that he's brought to the screen, he has a special time in our hearts here. Thank you. Deb Denny says, time to do your ask. Thank you, Deb Debney. I will do my ask right now. Folks, if you are watching us on YouTube, please click the join button. and become a part of our PDR Posse on YouTube. If you don't see that join button, please go ahead and support us via politicsdoneright.com/YouTube. Politicsdoneright.com/YouTube. Alternatively, you can support us on Patreon. Patreon is another platform that raises money for people that do this kind of work that we do. Politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. Patreon. Patreon for our podcast listeners. Politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. You know, one of the best ways that you can support us as well is via PayPal. You can either do a one-time contribution, or PayPal now have the option that says, I want to give him X amount of dollars to support this show, you know, on a monthly basis. That would be fine. Kind of help us budget a little bit better for what we need to get done. Politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. Politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. You can get our books. I tell you what, let me tell you, you can go to our store and get our hoodies and all of that. And hoodies and masks and t-shirts, all of that, cups, all of that at our store. So just go to politicsandright.com/store, or you can visit our store at YouTube as well. They sell basically the same products. Now, I want to tell you why I would love for you to get our books. Yes, getting our books support us. It helps us defray all these costs, etc. But it's all three of them. You can get them individual or get all three. As I see it, Class Warfare, the only resort to right-wing doom. Why do you need that book? That teaches you all that you need to know about the economy and what's dysfunctional within this capitalist structure, this unfettered capitalist structure. As I see it, Class Warfare, the only resort to right-wing doom. The second book, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors. Why do you need that one? Well, you've learned all that you need to learn about the economy. You know all the flaws, etc. But you have to communicate this to your right-wing brother, sister, and otherwise. You communicate that to them in a way that they are receptive to listen to, and you make the change. You help make the change. Hell, buy a book for them too, right? Tell them, hey, check out Egberto. And you know what is the other thing with getting these books? You have a direct access to the author. And when I say direct access, I mean it. You ask anybody in this room who've sent me personal emails, whether they get a response, and I don't mean just a, hi, okay, thank you response, but some thought into it. I'm not sufficiently large that I can't handle the emails. Yeah, I'm working 16 hours a day and I handle a lot of emails every day. But even if we grow hugely, I will still make sure to handle the emails and even get some of you to help me filter the emails to know which one needs specific attention and which one can be used tertiary attention, etc. So as I see it, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relative, Friends, and Neighbor. It's worth it. That's the name of the book. And the third book is How to Make America Utopia. How to Make America Utopia. I mean, you've learned how the economy works and the flaws in the economy. You've learned how to talk to your right-wing relatives, friends, and neighbors. Now you have to aspire for something. What do we aspire for? That is How to Make America Utopia. Take away the economy from those who rigged it. That is the idea between in the three books, or coming towards the three books. So thank you so kindly, Deb, for reminding me to do my ask. And folks, please go ahead and get my books at politicsdoneright.com/books. Wait a minute. E2247 says, Hola parientes, ¿qué hice? ¿Qué comer? Wow. You're saying, hey parents, what did I do? What's to eat? Wow. Are you trying to, and not only that, you're using the correct under question mark and over question mark. I'm impressed, E2247. No sabía que eras Latino. I'm just playing with you, man. All right. Carl Cox says, Egberto does indeed respond to emails. Good for him. Courtney, the SLP, says, greetings, PDR Posse. Good job on the likes to viewers ratio. Thank you so kindly. Folks. Keep liking this stuff, man. We need more likes. We need more likes, and we need more thumbs up. And we need more live viewers. So tell your folks about this show going. E2247 says, yay. Michael says, the United States is one of the only countries in the world with a cash ball system that is dominated by commercial bail bondsmen. The system discriminates against people of color and the poor, and it's in dire needs of reform. Some states and cities are making progress, but much more work is needed to bring fairness to this corner of the criminal justice system. Pre-trial detainees make up about 70% of the U.S. jail population, approximately 536,000 people. Many of them are only there because they can't afford bail. Sad, sad, sad. Okay, I wanted to give you another video. A GOP governor. Here's what he had to say. I think you'll find this enlightening. I think this is the one I actually did at, I think I did this video while I was with my daughter at rehab. Check this out.
Maintaining our democracy will not be easy. If we are to do it, it's going to require that people on all sides, including Republicans, take a stance. And guess what? We have some Republican governors that are doing just that. Check this out, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Last year's attack on the Capitol has done little to distance the majority of the Republican Party from the former president. But there are a small number who speak out, denouncing the attack and those who instigated it. One of those Republicans is Governor Larry Hogan of Maryland, and he is here with me now. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy New Year to you. Let's start with what polls are showing about Republican voters. They overwhelmingly believe the election lies that fueled the Capitol attack, and Republican candidates across the country are playing into that belief and trying to win primaries that way. So can American democracy survive when these lies have become so deeply ingrained in your party?
Well, it's a great question, Dan. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I continue to speak up and tell the truth about, what happened, because I think it's critically important. I mean, it's frankly, it's crazy that that many people believe that things that just simply aren't true, that they believe a different version of reality. But look, let's face it, there's been an amazing amount of disinformation that's been spread over the past year, and many people are consuming that disinformation and believing it as if it's fact. To think that the violent protesters who attacked the Capitol, our seat of democracy, on January 6th was just tourists, looking at statues. It's insane that anyone could watch that on television and believe that's what happened.
And that is what we're going to need a lot of. We're going to need a lot of people coming out and doing exactly what the governor just did. I think he should be commended. He's going to take a lot of flack for it, but it doesn't really matter. Anybody who cares about the country would actually see exactly what he did. But you know what? It's one of the wonderful things that I see out of this interview. She actually used the word lie, that in effect, and I don't know if you remember, for decades, they wouldn't use the word lie. Well, they're using the words lie now successfully. Let's hope it's just not too late. Let's hope we can save what is left.
Let's hope we can save what is left of the country. I am pretty sure we can do it. If I weren't so sure, I wouldn't have dedicated myself to this. I would have continued to. I would have moved my sole proprietorship, which was what I would consider. Well, it's a free enterprise. My company was not a free enterprise. Was not a capitalist company. It was a free enterprise company. Very big difference. The other day, I had to explain to my daughter exactly why things like Willie's Computer Software Company was a free enterprise company and not capitalist. All business does not have that gross attack on people. If you are the person that creates something and you're the person that profits from something, you are deserving of that profit. But you also have to remember that the profit that you are making is partially on the backs of others. And I think I've given all of you that whatever successes I had in business when I was in the business of making software, the business of making cards, etc., I've always atoned. I've always said, thank you, Texas taxpayers, for the University of Texas. I've always said, thank you, taxpayers, for giving the infrastructure necessary for me to have been able to have a business. It's not me alone who did it. We did it. And once you start to think that way, only a psychopath can be then a billionaire, because it means you are on billionaire on the backs of others. All those billions that you have are monies not otherwise paid for somebody who did it for you. Please remember that. We have to change the method of thinking. And you'll hear me say this day after day after day after day. I want people to build up their oomph to be able to say, I am worthy. Your billions were made by me, you, and everybody else. You could not do it without us. The differential of you creating and me buying is not billions of dollars. We have to remember this economic system was a man-made economic system, to simply benefit a few. Until you actually get the lies out of your head that somehow we all have equal access to success. Until we get the lie out of their heads that this is a meritocracy and not realize that you have to be invited in, they will always continue to rule us. Anyhow, para ver, Eric says, have 10 months left and looks like most retirements, etc. There would be a huge shift in the House. Then what happens? I don't know. You know what's so funny? For all of you Republicans, my brothers and sisters, who are hoping that the Democrats lose big in 2022, be careful that you get it. Because you know who's going to suffer the most if Democrats lose? Republicans. And that is a funny, I think, I would have a slogan right now. Who will lose the most if Democrats lose in November? Republicans. They're the poorest people. You go into all the rural areas, it's they who are going to lose. It's their hospitals who are closing down because of Republican policies. And I cannot understand why Democrats don't know how to campaign. I would be in Yoakum, Texas. I would be in Brenham, Texas. I would be in Timbuktu, Texas. I would be in Timbuktu, Arizona. I would be in Timbuktu, West Virginia, saying, you want your Republican life? Vote Democrat. Because that hospital that's going to close down because of the Affordable Care Act that nobody wants, that even your Republican governor is trying to get now, it's gone. Bye-bye. They don't care about you. You are there talking about critical race theory. They want you talking about that because they don't want you talking about them closing your hospitals. But you're going to vote for them. And here we have Brother Eric Hayes. Let's see what you're going to do 10 months when we take over. Yeah, when we take over, you're going to go broke. That's what's going to happen. If Republicans were to win in November, the people that will hurt the most, the people that will get the most ill will, the people that will get the least are Republicans. I mean, so you guys can sit down there and say, "Oh, we're going to win in November." You better hope you don't. You better hope you don't win, because if you lose, you can at least complain. You Democrats are fools. You Democrats are this, but you'll still be getting the cash that Democrats are trying to recover from the thieves for you, right? At least we don't have a problem recovering the theft. You like to live in your land of fantasy somehow. Okay? So, hope that we lose. You will pay. Eric says, Egberto, can you spend your way out of all this with more debt? Yes, you can. Learn economics. Yes, you can. We can do two things to spend our way out. We can accumulate a lot more debt. We have a $600 to $800 billion debt slack that we have without causing inflation. Talk to Stephanie Kelton, the economist who really knows economics, because everything that she's spoken about, including with Richard Wolff, has come to pass, right? Because they talk about how the economy really works, as opposed to the lie that business schools are that need to teach business people so that they continue the indentured servitude and the antiseptic slavery that occurs right now. So yes, sir. Stephanie Kelton, Richard Wolff, check them out. Good economists. I've interviewed Richard Wolff several times. I hear from him at least 2 or 3 times a month. Check him out. Okay? All right, let's see. Michael Redden says, what will Republicans do to help the people if they get in power? Nothing. That's the problem. Republicans only care about power. And the thing about it is, the poorest people in this country are Republicans. That's why they're pissed. Because here's what's so funny, right? Republicans go into the rural areas, and they tell our rural area brothers and sisters, those people in the cities are taking your birthright. They're taking away your money. They're taking away your cash. Okay? But it's not true, right? We want We want Medicare for all, which will make sure that somebody that lives in Timbuktu, Georgia, or Timbuktu, Alabama, don't have to drive into Jacksonville, don't have to drive into Atlanta to see a good doctor in a hospital. We want to make sure those hospitals exist throughout the country. These guys don't want that kind of stuff. They want capitalism to work, which says we can't put a hospital in a sparsely populated area, so we put it where it's more efficient for us to live and all of that, and let those damn rural folks drive into town. And if they're in a car crash, because it takes them an hour to get to the closest class 1 medical center or whatever it's called, they'll just die. So your people, meaning the Republican politicians, kill you, they take your money and all of that, and you vote for them. You vote for them. Is that insanity? And you vote on them because they bring up cultural issues. Those liberals want abortions. Oh, really? Hey, Paul Fleming, welcome aboard. Those liberals want women to have abortion. But did you say you wanted freedom so everybody control their bodies? Isn't that what you said? I don't know. I thought that's what we said. Michael says government is a pair of last resort. If there's an economic downturn, it's government's responsibility to spend their way out of the problems. If there's more supply than demand, there will be no inflation. Exactly. And that is what they don't teach. Whenever I hear a politician say, I want our government to run like a business, or I want our government to balance its book like mom and dad has to balance their checkbook. If I hear a politician say that, that is disqualifying. That means they do not understand economics. That means they do not understand anything related to money and how a country that has sovereign currency works. And that means they should not hold political office, because their policies will do exactly what it has done to poor and middle class Americans today. And that is what we must learn. One other video I got to put out there, and this one has to do with, let me see which one I'm going to do. Why we allow these guys to get away with it. Let me go ahead and play Chuck Todd. It's the new year, but you know, sometimes things just continue the same way over and over again. I want you to listen to this interview that it's a snippet of the interview between Chuck Todd and Congressman Mayor of Michigan. And this is important because, believe it or not, when you create this type of narrative, it gives others the reason, it gives others the rationale to do wrong. Check this out. We'll take it on the other side.
Legitimize our democracy. Does that concern you? Do you share that fear and view?
I do, but I also see another party that's trying to delegitimize our democracy in far less dramatic ways. At least, not guys with Viking hats, bare-chested running into the Capitol, but calling for packing the Supreme Court, calling for abolishing the Senate, and frankly doing the same thing, the same justifications that I saw from some members of my party after the riots last summer. They say, well, why is it so bad that we stormed the Capitol? They were the ones burning down these cities, the sense of riot envy. Now we have this delegitimizing envy, where again, it is creating a reciprocal reaction. I think this is all incredibly dangerous. I think the threat of violence is probably more pronounced on the right today, but that does not mean the left is not capable as well. And that is what we need to cease. We need to cease this opportunity that has been grabbed at to expand the field of contest and the field of play, where instead of working within institutions, we seek to destroy and delegitimize the institutions themselves.
Can the Republican Party survive Donald Trump becoming the nominee one more time?
Well, if by survive you mean win elections, I think they can. If by survive you mean offering a cohesive governing ideology, some modicum of alliance to principles, I think that's something that's going to be a larger project.
I mean, and notice, after he made those accusations or those false equivalences, Chuck Todd just went into another mode. Do you think Donald Trump could still win? Let's first clear things up. The January 6th insurrectionists attempted to overthrow the United States government. They attempted a violent coup. He then equated that to BLM protests, wanting to make the Senate more fair, meaning not little states being able to control the whole agenda of the country. And thirdly, a Supreme Court that where many of the Democratic choices were stolen by the Republicans. In other words, they stole several seats from Democrats. Punto y final. There are no arguments about that. So what he's trying to equate, an attempted coup with a logical coup that the Republicans have already effected on America. That most senators from small states block what most Americans want. That is a soft coup. That Mitch McConnell and Republicans were able to pack the Supreme Court with justices that were undeserving, justices whose time had not come, justices they had no right to appoint given that there was a Democratic president to appoint. That is a soft coup. That we have a protest in the streets and you attempt to make a protest on the streets for the necessity of having equal justice under the law in this country, by wanting to equate that with others, is completely unfair. So again, the Republicans have already effected two soft coups and injustice on the people. And somehow, Chuck Todd allows it to pass by this confused Republican congressman stating, well, you know, it's bad. January 6th is bad. You know, they want to delegitimize institutions. But let's not give Democrats a pass because they want to do it as well. They want to make the Senate more fair. That's not good. They want to make the Supreme Court more fair. That's not good. And they don't want any protest. They want to create protests because we want to continue harming people of color. We want to continue harming the poor. So if they want to mitigate all those things, we can understand why others want to coup. I mean, Chuck Todd was handed on a platter a way to dispel the false equivalences that is all over this country, that gives these people the belief that what they're doing is right. And did he do it? No. He just moved on and said, could Donald Trump win another race? To which the congressman justifiably says, and is correct, based on the undemocratic nature of America, based on an electoral college, based on unfair redistricting policies, yes, Donald Trump, if we don't have a huge win for Democrats and progressives in 22 and 24, yes, Donald Trump and the fascist could be president again. We got to realize that, yep, and that's why we do what we do. That's why we work now. That's why I ask you guys to share this stuff. And this is why I tell you, go into a grocery store and you hear a conversation, be a part of the conversation. You hear people that are misinformed, nicely approach them, give them respect, but talk to them. You want to learn how to do that kind of stuff, how to make America, or rather, it's worth it, how to talk to your right-wing relatives, friends, and neighbors. My book. I've told a lot of stories. I don't have the time to do it right now, given that we only have 1 minute left to go. So let me read what you guys have written real quickly. And it goes like this. Let's see. Government spending during World War II got us out of the Great Depression. True. Macarena says abolishing the Senate. There's an idea. Combine the two houses of Congress into one. Smaller states will still will have their say, but it won't be such a disproportionate representation. I would love that, because they don't deserve that say. Paul Fleming says, I have to have a bridge put in my mouth that costs $4,813. My insurance won't cover this type. My dentist want to put in, so I get the codes to the type accepted. The people without health care are screwed. Exactly. Rudnan says Merrick Garland should have been on the Supreme Court back in 2016. Republican obstructionists earned Trump an extra seat. Republicans have already packed the court. True. Paul Fleming says research shows that people protesting in the streets increases police safety. E2247 says, government spending during World War II got us out of the Great Depression with Kurt LeMay carpet bombing civilians in paper homes and using a nuke WMD. That's another story that I need to talk about. The volume is low. The volume is low. Really? I didn't know the volume was low. Okay. Deb Denny says, is this Saturday your Q&A or did I miss it? No! We're doing, because the last Saturday was New Year's, I postponed it 1 week. So, Ask Egberto Anything is this week on Saturday. Please remember to show up, folks. Go sign up. I put it out in my newsletter every day. Well, I think I put it. Well, I put it out in my Substack newsletter. I'm going to send out a newsletter. I'll put it in a newsletter today as well, or rather, that goes forward. I have to remember to do that. Another task to do. Merit is now DOJ helping the current administration. It's I think Merrick. I think you mean Merrick, brother. Anyhow, we're at the end of the show. It's 5 o'clock. So, folks, I want to ask you one last time. Please go ahead and support the program. Go ahead and go to politicsdoneright.com/PayPal to support us on PayPal, politicsdoneright.com/PayPal to support us on Patreon, politicsdoneright.com/Patreon to support us on YouTube, politicsdoneright.com/YouTube, and to find out all the different ways in which you can support the show and make sure that we get all our message out, politicsdoneright.com/support. But please don't forget also, I beg of thee, share the blogs, share, I have newsletters, books, blogs, newspaper articles, blog articles. I'm all over putting out this message, trying to populate the internet with progressive message that needs your support. Rudnan is leaving us right at the end again. He lasted till 5. He didn't have to wait till 5 this time. Folks, Nanette Birdsmith says, Team Ashley Strong. Thank you, Egberto. Thank you, Nanette Birdsmith. Thank you all for being here with me. I could not at all do this without you. Support the program. We do need your support to keep doing this. Share. I still have, what time is it? 5 o'clock. I still have another 8 hours. No, actually 9 hours to go. A lot of stuff to do in that time. We are going to get busy. Look, folks. My name is Egberto Willies, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out! Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.